Hey friends, welcome to another episode of the DATEABLE Podcast. Season 15, episode 2. We're going. We're rolling along.
I know this isn't necessarily one of our number one. Okay, I don't want to say that. She is our number one fan, but my sister-in-law did reach out to me and said that we are a content pumping machine, that she is so impressed by how much content we put out into the world and cannot wait to listen to season 15.
I surely feel that way. I feel like there's not a day that goes by without us creating some sort of content. We're content creators, as they would say in today's industry.
In today's world, yes.
It's a really fun place to be right now, I have to admit, to actually have a space for content creation that never used to be a career path or even a respectable career path. And now here we are amongst the YouTubers, the vloggers, the TikTokers, we're the podcasters, and I'm very happy that we can realize these creative dreams of ours.
Yes, I was listening to a podcast. This is so meta. Listening to a podcast about podcasting. And and it was that podcast. You're not just a podcaster, but you are a voice. And I think that is one of the things that I love the most about podcasting is that it gives us a voice. And, you know, UA, I feel like our mission has changed over time. When we first started, we were just freaking flat out confused about dating. That's clearly was our motivation. But I feel like now we're kind of like, enough is enough. We need to help the movement to end why modern dating sucks so bad. And, you know, basically save modern dating. I feel like that is our mission, is how do we start to save modern dating that doesn't become this dreadful thing that people don't partake in and ultimately doesn't give them the love lives that they truly do want. And, you know, we go back on the word deserve, but I do believe everyone deserves happiness. And it's so unfortunate, you know, that we hear all these stories of just how derailed and discouraged people are. So I'm so happy this episode feels like such a breath of fresh air to help move towards that mission.
We love our guest, Meredith. We became friends on Instagram. So I guess in today's time, you just call that a friend, you know, even if you've never met IRL. But we've interacted with her quite a bit on Instagram and saw the content that she was putting out and was like, yes, girl, we're on board with this. She's single, thriving, enjoying life, but reflecting on the topics we talk about here on Dateable. And so we thought it would be cool to reach out to her and see if she can talk about her dating experience at a time when we were looking for a first line dater reporter so they could tell us what's the on the front lines of what are they doing when they're dating.
Yeah, we had this idea of, you know, having this dater, but I feel like it wasn't a fully baked idea. We were kind of like, it still isn't. Basically, that's what I'm leading to is Meredith reached out. It was like, I would love to be that dater. And we decided to do a phone call. I did a screener call with her. And I remember immediately texting UA that this girl is freaking amazing. And I'm still not really sure what we're doing with this dater, but we should just get her on the podcast in the meantime until we figured it out.
Her energy reminds me of Cheryl's episode, Just Say Yes. Very similar vibe. And I believe whoever listens to this episode, you're going to walk away just inspired and optimistic. And something I've been thinking about recently is there's so much bad dating behavior because we normalize it. We give terms to it. The media loves covering it. Fucking like West Elm Caleb was all over the news, but someone who's actually doing something good in dating never makes the news, right? So I was thinking about like positive reinforcement. How can we encourage daters to have more positive dating behavior? And with dogs, you give a treat, but with humans, we love recognition and acknowledgement. So this idea that I was playing around with is, can we give them some sort of dateable badge? Or if you find someone doing something great in dating, we send them an email or a text saying, congrats, you're dateable, or something like that. There's privacy issues because you can't be giving out people's phone numbers or their emails. But help us brainstorm. What could this look like where we can help facilitate rewarding good dating behavior so we get that positive reinforcement.
I love this. And I really do believe that is part of the problem of why there's this perception that dating sucks and this perpetual misery that comes with it, because all these dating terms are just so negative. It's all the behavior you don't want to happen: ghosting, roaching, breadcrumbing, zombieing. The list goes on and on. I think roaching still sticks out to me as the worst, but the stuff. The worst. All the stuff, though, it's never the positives. Or if there is a positive word, it doesn't stick. And I get it. Sometimes misery loves company, but I really do believe to save modern dating, we need to focus on the positive. And I love in this episode the way Meredith frames it. She definitely has not had, the easiest dating life, nor has anyone. But instead of just getting discouraged, she looks at dating as growth. And it's so important because sometimes we think that, other people just got a better hand than us. And that's the victim mentality. But she just takes ownership and she makes the path that works for her and enjoys the process. And I think that's so essential. It doesn't mean that every day is going to be rainbows and butterflies. I'm sure there's going to be days that are going to be hard. But the more we dwell on the negative, the more that just perpetuates.
And related to that, here's a challenge for all of you who are dating right now. This is for you. So if you're driving, just listen carefully. Don't hit anybody. But this is for you. Listen up. So many of you talk about how on first dates or second dates, you just talk shit about dating with the other person. You share experiences of bad dating behavior. You trauma dump on each other. And then you come out and say, oh, we have so much in common. We've had the same bad experiences online dating. It's a very cathartic feeling to share that misery like we were talking about, but it's also super draining. Can you imagine just talking about all the shit that's happened to you with someone else who's also had the same shit happen to them? What is the point of that? So next time you're on a date, if you end up going down that topic, try to just stop it. Just stop it. Say, you know what? We've all experienced bad dating behavior. But I truly believe that there's good dating behavior out there, and it starts right now. So we're going to end that conversation about bad dating.
I love that. And we say that there are no rules in dating, but I do believe the one rule should be to never talk about how bad dating is on the first date.
Yes. And stop just talking about your dating experiences with other people on a first date. You're there with someone.
You're there to connect with that person. Yes. Yeah. I remember before I met my partner, I had one of the worst dates I've ever had. I remember him asking me that if to go back to his house, and I had to use the bathroom, and I still was like, I can't because I don't want
I'd rather pee my pants.
Spend any more time with you. But he basically spent the whole time talking about just how bad dating was, and then went into his ex and how bad their relationship was, and how their sex life was bad, and how their money situation bad. I'm like, I do not need to know any of this, and you have not asked me any questions about me and connecting with me. Why would that be a good date? That is the worst date you could possibly have. Yet so many people are having that date.
It's just a default. It's easy to fall on. It's when you're fucking lazy, you can talk about the things that are top of mind. But if you're on a date, can we be more mindful and think about, is this conversation draining or energizing? And if it's any ounce of draining, just stop the conversation. It's not going to get any more energizing when you get to that drained topic. So let's just regroup for a sec. All of our daters out there, if you are listening to Dateable, we know you're part of the crew. And if you're part of the crew, you know you're not going to be part of this behavior. So no more trauma dumping on bad dating behavior on first dates. And no more these negative talks about other dating experiences. It doesn't serve your current date or interaction.
No, and we talk about with Meredith, if something's not serving you, just move on. Yeah. There's no need to get that energy of how miserable it is. And it's easy. I get it. I've definitely been there, that you can just love to bitch with your friends and you love to complain about things, especially if it's not going your way. But I remember being like, I actually shouldn't be talking about dating with this friend anymore.
Yes.
Because I leave feeling de-energized. I feel leaving depressed about the situation.
Yes.
And that's not good energy to bring into a date.
Yes. When Julie and I are out in the wild and people find out that we do a dating podcast, the first thing they always want to do is tell us a dating story. And it's always a bad dating story, whether it happened to them or a friend. And we tend to just kind of not respond to that. Yeah, you can tell the story, but what is the purpose that you're serving here? We would much rather for you to come up and say, oh, you do a dating podcast? Yeah, I dated someone who was so wonderful and this is what they did. Tell us about the good stuff. We already know about the bad stuff. You don't need to tell us that anymore. No more reminders of that.
Why is it that we're always drawn to the bad? It's so crazy when you think about it.
And when you're drawn to the bad, you start looking for the bad, and the bad becomes part of your narrative, and then that becomes part of your story. And then you're like, oh, I'm doing it for the story. And then every date you go on, all you want is for it to go bad so you can go home and tell your friends what happened.
So one of our pet peeves now we're just like airing it. I guess this is maybe next.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Whatever. I need to get this off my chest. It's been bothering me for a while.
Please.
The word red flag really bothers me. And I get where it's coming from. I'm not saying that you should ignore any sign of someone being a bad partner for you. Absolutely not. But the way red flag is used is that everyone's like, oh, they ate for a second with their mouth open. Red flag.
Yeah.
They wore a band shirt from 10 years ago. Red flag. Like, it's not things that matter at all. It's just humans being humans. And I guarantee we all have red flags. And Yue and I have been like, it's almost like the game Capture the Flag, that people are just constantly trying to go out there and capture that red flag.
Yeah. Think about this. Have you ever been at work and you work on a deck or something for your boss to review? All your boss's job is to give comments and feedback. And they're looking for flaws. Right?
Yeah.
That's what this red flag search is all about. All you're doing is looking for places where you can give feedback and give criticism. That's not dating. You're not dating someone who's your boss. You're not handing over some work to them to review. Can we accept people for who they are? And instead of looking for all the flaws, because you wouldn't want someone to do that to you, sitting there just being like, what are her red flags? How about we just look for the human connection? There's this basic human connection, and it has no value to it. It's not positive or negative. It's a connection.
Yes. I also feel like we make so many assumptions on red flags based on people's relationship history. And there's so many reasons why someone made a decision or got to the place that they got to that may or may not be like, just because it's not your experience doesn't mean it's bad or it's wrong. So I feel like we're finding red flags and things that just don't match what we are. But that's basically the opposite of connecting with another human being.
Yeah.
And learning to grow and see things in a different way. This red flag hunt has got to stop.
Yes. Stop the capture the red flag. Stop playing that game. It's not fun. It's not serving you. It's not doing anybody any good. But listen to this episode, because this episode with Meredith will absolutely uplift you and make you feel more optimistic, not just about dating, but also about life. Just saying her name, Meredith, makes me happy and makes me smile. So hopefully this episode will do the same for you after you're done.
Yeah, I remember the whole time I was thinking, who could we set her up with?
I know.
Which, honestly, when we have guests that talk about just how dismal dating is, or people that we've talked to in our community, that isn't what's going through your mind. So there is something really important of putting out that energy, because your energy leaks through on every date. Absolutely.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%.
I hated capture the flag in elementary school, and I hate it now. That gave us such a bad connotation, and it continues to with red flags.
Did you like dodgeball?
I like dodgeball better than red flags. I like dodgeball better than capture the flag.
Why?
Capture the flag. Oh my God. I think there's so many things. I just felt like I was forced to play capture the flag so many times. And then I was a camp counselor, and the guy that was in charge like purposely put us all on activities we didn't want to do. So I requested arts and crafts and water related stuff, and he basically put me on capture the flag every time.
Oh, fuck him. He's a red flag. I always thought dodgeball was too violent.
Yeah.
It scared me. It hurt me.
Yeah. Fun fact, actually, while we're on this topic, this is so off topic, that I actually got fired for being a camp counselor. Did I ever tell you this?
Obviously not.
This girl in my bunk, and I honestly don't even remember. I wouldn't say it too for privacy reasons, but I don't even remember what it was. But she came to me in secrecy about something that was going on with her body, and I went to the nurse, and the same guy that made me be on capture the flag demanded that I told him, and I refused to tell him because he is like
privacy.
It's a privacy thing, and he was like a man, and it wasn't who she would want to tell. And then I got fired for not telling him.
Okay.
And I stand by that. I stand by my decision 25 years later or whatever it was.
Have you looked up this guy recently?
Well, I do remember his name. I won't out him, but
you should look him up.
He's probably like still working at the camp is probably what's happening.
Yeah, still firing like teenagers.
Yeah, I'm still proud of being fired from that job, and as someone that does what we do now and reserving secrecy, especially when it comes to matters of the body, the female body, then absolutely like go fuck yourself.
Yes, go integrity.
Yeah. Well, we are talking. Okay. Well, I guess I feel like we've talked so much about what's to come, so we might as well just get into the episode. But before we do, quick announcements at Dateable Podcast. That's our Instagram, TikTok. You could find us on all the socials, and Love at the Time of Corona is the Dateable Facebook group. So join us there. Make sure to subscribe and to also listen on Sundays for Brunch Talk. We've gotten some really good feedback on the Brunch Talk episode, so we will continue doing that. If you have a question that you want answered, feel free to DM us on Instagram or hello@dateablepodcast.com.